Taoism and its interactions with Buddhism and Confucianism. Taoism, Buddhism, and Confucianism are three of the most influential philosophical and religious traditions in Chinese history. These systems of thought have not only shaped the spiritual and moral lives of millions but also left indelible marks on Chinese culture, politics, and society. Understanding their interrelationships involves delving into their origins, core teachings, practices, and the ways in which they have influenced and transformed each other over the centuries. Taoism, an overview, origins and development. Taoism, or Taoism, is an indigenous Chinese religion and philosophy that traces its origins to the 6th century BCE with the teachings of Laozi, Lao Tzu, traditionally credited with authoring the foundational text, the Tao Te Ching, Tao Te Ching. Taoism emphasizes living in harmony with the Tao, Tao, which is often translated as the way or the path. The Tao is the underlying principle that is the source and force behind everything that exists. Core teachings. 1. The Tao, the central concept of Taoism. The Tao is an all-encompassing principle that governs the universe. It is ineffable, beyond human comprehension, and the source of all existence. 2. Wu Wei, non-action. This principle advocates for natural action that is in alignment with the flow of the Tao. It suggests that one should act in a way that is effortless and spontaneous, avoiding forceful actions that go against the natural order. 3. Yin and Yang, Taoism emphasizes the balance of opposites. Yin and Yang are complementary forces that interact to form a dynamic system in which the whole is greater than the assembled parts. 4. Immortality and alchemy. Taoist practices often include alchemical experiments and exercises aimed at achieving physical immortality, spiritual transcendence, or both. Practices. Taoist practices vary widely but often include meditation and qigong, techniques to cultivate inner peace and balance the body's energies. Rituals and offerings, performed to honor deities, ancestors, and nature spirits. Feng Shui, the art of arranging space to harmonize with the natural flow of the environment. Martial arts, practices such as Tai Chi and Kung Fu that integrate physical fitness with spiritual growth. Buddhism, an overview, origins and development. Buddhism originated in India in the 5th century BCE with the enlightenment of Siddhartha Gautama, known as the Buddha. It spread to China around the 1st century CE and underwent significant transformation as it integrated with Chinese culture and existing religious practices. Core teachings. 1. The Four Noble Truths, the foundation of Buddhist teaching, which includes the truth of suffering, dukkha, its cause, craving or desire, its cessation, nirvana, and the path leading to its cessation, the Eightfold Path. 2. The Eightfold Path, a practical guide to ethical and mental development with the goal of freeing an individual from attachments and delusions, ultimately leading to understanding, wisdom, and compassion. 3. Karma and rebirth, the belief in the law of cause and effect, where actions in this life will affect one's future lives. 4. Meditation and mindfulness, practices aimed at developing concentration, clarity, emotional positivity, and a calm seeing of the true nature of things. Practices. Buddhist practices include meditation, various techniques to cultivate mindfulness, concentration, and insight. Chanting and recitation, reciting sutras and mantras to focus the mind and invoke the presence of the Buddha and Bodhisattvas. Ethical conduct, following precepts that guide moral behavior. Monastic life, a significant aspect of Buddhism, with monks and nuns dedicating their lives to religious practice and community service. Confucianism, an overview, origins and development. Confucianism, based on the teachings of Confucius, Confuzi, who lived in the 6th century BCE, is a philosophical and ethical system rather than a religion. It emphasizes social harmony, moral conduct, and the importance of education and family. Core teachings. 1. Ren, humaneness, the virtue of compassion, kindness, and benevolence toward others. 2. Li, ritual and propriety, the importance of ritual, manners, and proper behavior in maintaining social order. 3. Shao, filial piety, respect and devotion to one's parents and ancestors. 4. Righteousness, the moral disposition to do good and the ability to recognize and act upon ethical principles. 5. Wisdom, the ability to see what is right and fair, or the wisdom of discernment. Practices. Confucian practices revolve around rituals, ceremonies and rites that reinforce social and familial bonds. Education, the pursuit of knowledge and cultivation of virtue. Community service, engaging in activities that benefit society and promote social harmony. Interactions between Taoism, Buddhism, and Confucianism. Philosophical overlaps and divergences. Taoism and Buddhism. Commonalities. 1. Concept of impermanence. Both Taoism and Buddhism emphasize the transient nature of life and the universe. 2. Focus on meditation. Practices aimed at achieving inner peace and spiritual enlightenment are central to both traditions. 3. Syncretism. Over centuries, especially in China, elements of Taoism and Buddhism have merged, particularly in the form of Chan Buddhism, Zen Buddhism in Japan, which incorporates Taoist principles. Differences. 1. Ultimate goals. Taoism often seeks harmony with the Tao and immortality, while Buddhism aims for enlightenment and liberation from the cycle of rebirth. 2. Cosmology and theology. Taoism involves a complex pantheon of gods, immortals, and spirits, whereas Buddhism focuses on the teachings of the Buddha and the concept of emptiness. Sunyata. Taoism and Confucianism. Commonalities. 1. Cultural integration. Both systems have deeply influenced Chinese thought, governance, and culture. 2. Moral philosophy. Emphasis on ethical behavior and moral virtues is central to both. Differences. 1. Worldview. Confucianism is more concerned with social order and proper conduct within society, while Taoism emphasizes natural harmony and individual spiritual practices. 2. Approach to governance. Confucianism supports structured hierarchies and roles within society, advocating for a well-ordered state, while Taoism often espouses minimal intervention by the government and living in accordance with nature. Historical interactions. Throughout Chinese history, the interactions between Taoism, Buddhism, and Confucianism have ranged from harmonious coexistence and syncretism to rivalry and competition. Han Dynasty, 206 BCE, 220 CE. During the Han Dynasty, Confucianism was established as the state ideology, and Confucian scholars held prominent positions in government. However, Taoism also began to develop as an organized religious movement, particularly with the influence of Zhang Daoling, who founded the Celestial Masters sect. 6 Dynasties period, 220 to 589 CE. This era saw significant interaction between Taoism and Buddhism. Buddhism began to spread widely in China, leading to the establishment of monasteries and the translation of Buddhist texts into Chinese. During this time, Taoism and Buddhism influenced each other, leading to the development of religious Taoism with its own temples, rituals, and clergy. Tang Dynasty, 618 to 907 CE. The Tang Dynasty is often seen as a golden age for both Taoism and Buddhism. The ruling class supported both religions, and many emperors practiced Taoist rituals. This period also saw the flourishing of Chan Buddhism, which incorporated Taoist elements such as the emphasis on naturalness and spontaneity. Song Dynasty, 960-1279 CE. The Song Dynasty witnessed the rise of Neo-Confucianism, a revival and reinterpretation of Confucian thought that incorporated metaphysical elements from Buddhism and Taoism. Neo-Confucian scholars like Zhu Xi synthesized ideas from all three traditions, promoting a more spiritual and philosophical form of Confucianism. Ming and Qing dynasties, 1368 to 1912 CE. During the Ming and Qing dynasties, there was continued interaction and synthesis among Taoism, Buddhism, and Confucianism. Many scholars and religious practitioners sought to harmonize the three teachings, emphasizing their complementary aspects and shared values. Cultural and social impact. The interplay between Taoism, Buddhism, and Confucianism has profoundly shaped Chinese culture, society, and intellectual history. Art and literature. 1. Literature. The writings of Laozi, Zhuangzi, Confucius, and Buddhist sutras have inspired countless poets, writers, and philosophers. Literary works often reflect the themes of natural harmony, moral virtue, and spiritual quest. 2. Painting and calligraphy. Artistic expressions often draw from Taoist and Buddhist themes, depicting natural landscapes, immortals, and scenes of meditation and enlightenment. 3. Architecture. Temples, monasteries, and Confucian academies exhibit architectural styles influenced by these traditions, often incorporating elements that reflect their philosophical and spiritual ideals. Social and political life. 1. Governance. Confucianism has historically played a central role in shaping Chinese political thought and statecraft. The civil service examination system, based on Confucian classics, was a crucial institution for selecting government officials. 2. Social ethics. The moral and ethical teachings of Confucianism have deeply influenced family structures, social hierarchies, and interpersonal relationships in Chinese society. 3. Religious practices. Taoist and Buddhist rituals, festivals, and practices are integral to the cultural and religious life of many Chinese communities. These practices often coexist and are interwoven with Confucian ceremonies and values. Modern era. In the modern era, the relationships between Taoism, Buddhism, and Confucianism continue to evolve. While traditional practices and beliefs remain influential, they are also adapting to contemporary contexts and challenges. 1. Revival and reform. There has been a resurgence of interest in traditional Chinese religions and philosophies, both within China and globally. Scholars, practitioners, and lay people are exploring and revitalizing these traditions in new ways. 2. Interfaith dialogue. In an increasingly interconnected world, there is a growing emphasis on dialogue and understanding between different religious and philosophical traditions. Taoism, Buddhism, and Confucianism are engaging with other world religions in discussions about common values, ethical challenges, and spiritual insights. 3. Cultural identity. These traditions continue to play a crucial role in shaping Chinese cultural identity, providing a sense of continuity and connection to a rich historical heritage. Conclusion. The relationships between Taoism, Buddhism, and Confucianism are marked by both harmony and tension, mutual influence, and distinct identities. Over the centuries, these traditions have contributed to a rich tapestry of religious and philosophical thought in China, shaping the spiritual, moral, and cultural life of its people. Understanding their interactions provides valuable insights into the complexities of human belief, the search for meaning, and the pursuit of a harmonious existence.